Now I hope you will welcome to the stage the drivers of our economic engine parts here in Broward County. From the Aviation Department, Mr. Kent George. Also from the Aviation Department, Mr. Mark Gale. From Port Everglades Department, Steve Cernak. And now Nikki gets to come back to the stage, Nikki Grossman from the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Thank you all. No, there's a clicker in back there for you. That's what Steve said. Kent.
Me. Sit down.
Hello.
Good afternoon. I'm Kent George from the airport. Retiring airport director, I'm happy to say. And thank you very much for this wonderful turnout today. What's surprising, even though Phil wasn't able to make it today, he has always been a mentor, and as you can see, he has really started to enjoy his retirement. I am hopeful that no one gets a picture of me 2 years after I retire. But Phil, as you know, is just a fabulous individual, and our prayers are with him and some of his medical problems that they're having at home. As we go further, Steve's going to be speaking today, and this is Serenix Island. And Steve is oops, we lost the music from Gilligan's Island, but Steve and his group are here today, and they're going to be showing you what is really happening as we go forward. And then last but certainly not least is the goddess of tourism, Nikki. And
Crown, too.
What I got to say about Nikki is, first, Mel wouldn't let me put up the pictures. He said he wanted to keep them for himself that we were trying to put up.
God.
But as we go forward, there are very, very few people in here realize how we work together between the port, Phil, Nikki, and the airport with our leader, Bertha Henry. And I can't speak enough for how Bertha holds this all together. But we all have been lucky enough to work on your economic generators for this community. Without a doubt, and what a lot of folks don't know, is Nikki's involved with all of our work that we do as we go and talk to airlines, bring businesses in, promote our community, promote our airport. And she has been a fabulous, fabulous partner. And she's going to be sorely missed. She did a great job. And I just, for my own edification, want to say, Nikki, thank you for everything that you've done for us. We have been so lucky to have this. But also, we also know Nikki, and we made a very strong point, if you notice. Mark will learn, but Steve and I have decided that we have to put Nikki last. No one wants to go after Nikki and speak because she is so dynamic, and she also takes too much time. So, but with that, your airport today is changing. What we thought was happening as we went into the future, and we went through the runway, the not the master plan, but the terminal modifications, it started hitting us that we're coming out in 2008 and 9, and then starting coming out of the recession, that things didn't slow down for us. And so we went back, and from the year 2000 to 2015, Fort Lauderdale has been the second fastest growing large hub airport in the country.
How come Charlotte does better?
Why?
How come Charlotte does better?
Now, see, again,
Yes.
if you'd sit down and listen instead of try to run the meeting, we will let you know.
I heard you just said Fort Lauderdale was the second fastest growing hub, and then there's this big green line in front of Fort Lauderdale called CLT.
And there's a big difference in that. Thank you for the lead-in.
You're welcome.
Fort Lauderdale is an O&D airport, origination and destination coming from the community. We do 53% of the O&D traffic in South Florida. Miami does 30, and back on the, go back. You're speeding it up too much. There, and Miami does about 30% of the O&D, and then Palm Beach does the rest. Charlotte is a connecting airport, and Charlotte has grown tremendously because of the US Air American bring together, and it's their major hub on the East Coast, if not in the country. And that's what's happening is those aren't passengers that have been generated by the community, those are connecting passengers there. Next slide, please. So we're the 21st busiest airport in the country right now. Last year, our international traffic was up 18%, our domestic up 7.3%. Now, we threw some other airports down on the bottom just to see, so you could see what we're doing and how we're doing on international and so forth. It's very, very telling that when you sit here, and in the year 2000, we did about 15 million passengers. We will double our passengers next year. We'll be close to 30 million passengers this year. We're looking at 29 million this year. That is significant, significant growth. Next. Recent and future new service, JetBlue. I'm going to talk a little bit more about them in a second. Dynamic Airlines, Norwegian Airlines. JetBlue is going to a lot of other cities. By the way, we open up Paris in the end of July, beginning in August, and there's more to come from Norwegian Airlines. Allegiant, which is a super low-cost carrier like Spirit Airlines, has opened up new cities, and Southwest is doing more, and you're going to hear some more about that in just a second. Next. This slide we didn't change on purpose because we do have the information that goes through the winter schedule of this year. We got it a few weeks ago. But we were saying through the first 6 months, we're going to grow about 9.3%. It's now through the end of September, we're going to grow at over 9%. We have the new schedules. We will pass 29 million passengers this year, and this will provide, we go to 50 of our top 50 destinations now with nonstop service every day. We go to over 60 international destinations, and we're still growing. Next. So, what threw a monkey wrench into it is, and it's a nice monkey wrench, JetBlue came to us and they made a formal announcement. They're doing about 80 flights a day today. They will, by the year 2019 to 20, be at 140 departures a day. 140 departures. There's 2 other airlines that are doing significant increases, and those airlines are going from what their current schedule is. One's 45 flights a day, another one's about 55 to 60. They're going to go to 100 flights a day, each one of them. So you can see that through the FAA's terminal area forecast that was put out there, back one please, not yet.
I'm done.
Through the area forecast, this is put out by the FAA, and it shows normal growth as you go through there. But there's a couple footnotes in there. 2.9% was shown for 15, and we're looking at now over 9% for 16. So what we're doing is a master plan. We haven't done a complete master plan since 1994 because we wanted to get the runway done and some of the other things done. So, next slide, please. We asked the master planning folks to sit down and to verify some of the things that were said by these carriers that want to grow, plus looking at our schedules and other things. And they came back with the verification that we're going to be sitting by the year 2025 someplace between 36.7 million and 41.9 million passengers. We have to grow for that, and we have to be able to meet that needs. It's going to change a little bit, and your new airport director is going to talk a little bit about that and his vision in just a few minutes. But the airport is growing. And it's going to change in that it's not going to be all O&D as we go in the future. It's going to be some connecting. And it's going to be fabulous. So how are we going to get there next? We go in tomorrow. Next, please. We need to expand and modernize the terminal buildings. We're about $1.3 billion into that, and we're on the process of doing that more. We need to expand the federal inspection station, need for additional gates, and need for additional public parking. Excuse me. Next. So we're going to show you an overview of the airport. We'll go by Terminal 1. New concourse of Terminal 1, mainly for Southwest. The new Concourse A will be 5 new additional gates. Next slide, please. Showing roughly how it's going to be. When you drive on Perimeter Road, you'll see the construction. Next slide. There you go, the construction that we're moving forward on. That construction will be in operation, and the gates will be working in May of next year. Next slide. There's an internal look as the crossover between the current B and C gates. Next. And there's a look at the outside, an architectural rendering of what the terminal is going to look like when we get it done. And it's going to be very, very functional, very beautiful. We go into Terminal 2, the Delta Airlines terminal. Next slide. We need to upgrade that facility. We're in the process of doing that. There's going to be an action taken to the board on Tuesday that is going to have Delta, who is most vested in this, do these roughly $110 million worth of upgrades. Next. There's an exterior look. It's going to raise the ceiling. It's going to open it up, and it's going to make it much more user-friendly and much, by the way, more functional. When you go into Terminal 2 right now, you'll walk in and you'll see an awful lot of concessions and everything in the center. That's going to be all opened up and gone. Concessions going to be put around the edge. Going into Terminal 3, most people have seen this as we go forward with the changes. Next, please. This is some of the Terrazzo floor and opening up and raising the ceiling, what it looked like before and what it looks like now. Next. And next one, please. There we go. Terminal 3 is going to have a significant changeover as we go into that in the future. You're going to see a slide in just a little while of what may be happening, and we're going to show you where a lot of the long pole in the tent is and what we're going to be facing as we go into the future in Terminal 4. The western portion is already open. There were 6 gates, and 5 of them are open. The last one will be open when we do the center section. I'm going to go to the eastern portion. Go back, please. I'm going to go to the eastern portion. We have 8 gates. 6 will be opened in May of 2017. To get that work completed, MCM's doing that, we need to get the FIS, Federal Inspection Station facility completed. So that needs to be opened in May of 17. And Cummings Balfour Beatty, under a joint partnership, is doing that. And that is huge. Those two, the board, in their vision, has permitted us to be able to get this done. So we can't have 6 gates open on the east end and not have an FIS facility to meet it. Next slide, please. So what you see is what the new FIS facility is going to look like. It's going to be all on one floor. 24,000 square feet are being added. And I want to point out a couple things with that. First thing, the automatic passport control is in effect. If you haven't gotten your global entry, you need to get your global entry card. Global entry will also work with TSA in the fast track lane. But finally, Make sure that you avail yourself when you go international. We're one of the first 10 airports in the country to have for US citizens, the clearance app. And you can submit to that app on your phone. You can clear customs when you're coming in the country. You can file your declaration before you get through customs. They will let you know what you can do. You take your phone, your app, your bags, you show it to customs, you can go right on through. Very, very quick. One of the first airports in the country to get that done. Next slide. There's a picture of what some of the new FIS facility look like next. So, what do we do as we go in the future? Excuse me. We have two things that are facing us. Again, this exponential growth, and two, we only have 1,400 acres on the airport. So again, we went to the master plan folks and said, what do we need to do? Well, when we did the EIS on the runway, the environmental impact statement on the runway, the impact statement cleared to 79 gates. We'll move forward with those 79 gates over a period of time, and Mark will be working on that. But we're going to have to do something in the interim. And so just as a quick look, next slide, please. Here's a picture of possibilities of where that might go. Mark and the board will be working on the future planning for that, and that'll be coming back with a master plan. But we need 6 to 8 more gates before the year 2020, so we got to keep moving.